Okay, welcome to my movie podcast. It's been a while since I did one of these. This is The Attempters, Chocohobo Productions, and the movie we're talking about today is The Joker. Fantastic movie. 10 out of 10. I want to start off by saying this podcast is going to have a lot of talk about mental health. So if that bothers you in any way, click off now. This will also be a spoiler-free podcast, so you don't have to worry about any spoilers. To start it off the bat, this movie is all about mental health. 100% about mental health. It's about a man who has mental problems, and it turns into a downward spiral. But before we get to that part and get to the meat of the film, I want to start this off by saying it doesn't really fit into any of the lore about the Joker or anything like that. It's completely original. They do tie it near the end of the movie. They tie it, the city is Gotham. They tie it that there's the Wayne family. They tie it to Batman somehow near the end of the movie. I won't spoil how that happens. But they do tie it to the DC universe as a whole. But that shouldn't be a bad thing. It's loose, and I like that. Because that it lets it be its own thing. Lets it be more artistic. Lets it show things that we wouldn't normally see if we were bound by the DC universe or something like that. But it shouldn't be bound anyways, because remember, the DC universe is a multiverse, just like the MCU. It's a multiverse. You can have multiple beginnings to a story, ends to a story, and they all happen in different ways, in different times. And this could just be one interpretation of that storyline, which is great. I love it. But basically, the whole time I've watched this movie, now I myself suffer from mental health problems. I have learning disabilities, and one of the things that this thing tackles is the different kind of social anxiety that happens. The things that a sociopath may feel, the things that anybody with any kind of mental problems, it encapsulates a lot of the mental problems that happen with somebody in our day and age, in the 90s and the 80s, since the beginning of time, basically. Social anxieties, fantasies. I myself, have played out many fantasies in my head. They've never turned into hallucinations like somebody who would be in the extreme part of those kind of mental disabilities have. But if you watch this movie, you're going to see a lot of stuff like that. And it's very, very, for people who don't know about it, it's very eye-opening. For people who live it every day, they are going to resonate with this film. I myself resonate with this film a lot. It tells you things that that other people don't. The way that people expect you to behave in the world, even though you don't want to be that way sometimes. Sometimes you just want to be your crazy self, you know what I mean? You don't want to be a part of the system and live in these rules and these societies, and this is what happens when a man is put through too many trials. He's put through too many bad days, and then just what happens when it all crumbles apart, you know? And I feel like for a lot of us, that's a lot of us are well on our way for that to happen, or it's already happened to us, and we're dealing with the repercussions of it. It's just, that's the way this movie made me feel. I feel like that's how a lot of people with mental disabilities are going to feel when they watch this movie. It's very awesome to see a movie tackle these kinds of things in this way. And I love it. Well, a Hollywood movie, for instance. There are a lot of indie films and art films that tackle these kinds of subject matter. But never in a Hollywood way have I seen it done so well. Except for the movie this movie is based off of, or has, it's not really based off of it. It's got parallels to it. I'll say that. And that's The King of Comedy. It's got a lot of parallels to The King of Comedy. So before you see this movie, I would watch The King of Comedy. It's a Martin Scorsese film in 1983. And it is very interesting. It's around the time that, you know, Martin Scorsese was famous for making Goodfellas and a couple other films that I can't remember right now. But The King of Comedy is one of those movies he made that are sandwiched in between all the other good movies he made. And I feel like the writers and the directors really resonated with this movie. And they took the art of that movie and passed it on to the art of this movie. Now, the Joker, that's the next subject. The Joker movie is art. It is beautiful, beautiful art. It shows how a man is crushed by society, basically. Is formed by society. Is manipulated by society, and not just that, but just the awful things that can happen to somebody in their life that makes them just snap and have that bad day that makes it just go too far, to get that truth that just makes it go one step further into complete madness. Into complete, or not even madness, to push them to do something that they believe that they're doing is the right thing. And or not even the right thing. Maybe they're just doing it for a laugh. Just doing it because it's the only thing. It's the only thing they can do. And I don't know. I resonated so well with the madness of this film, the mental instability of this film that this film shows. I resonated so well with it, but I don't want to keep going on about the same old thing. The art direction of the film is amazing, even though we're thrust into this like 1980s political fucked up landscape. It's dark, it's brooding, but it's also vibrant and colorful. And I don't think I've seen a movie do that in such a long time. It reminds me, again, it goes back to the Martin Scorsese film. It reminds me of The King of Comedy. How everything's like dark, like the city life. It's dark and in city life and interesting, but there's colors and lights and the colors of cars and the colors of buildings and just beautiful, and the shots, the shots in this movie are fucking amazing. One of the shots that I like the most, that I'm inspired by, that I want to put into my own films now since watching this movie, is a shot in a doorway shot, just outside the door. You see into the door. You see Like the door is, like the thing inside the door is 1,000,000 miles away. And you're watching from 1,000,000 miles away. And it's just, the shots in this film are all like that. They're beautiful. That you think they're happening just 1,000,000 miles away. Not every shot, mind you, but there are shots like that that make you go, my God, where am I right now? What am I watching right now? and then you resonate with the person in the shot that's having this downward spiral, that's having bad things happen to them every day, and then since there's so many bad things happening, they have no choice but to fantasize about good things to make themselves happy. And there's a lot of that in this too. And I resonate with that most of all because I've done a lot of fantasizing in my day. Fantasizing about loving people, fantasizing about hurting people, fantasizing about just being a great famous person. Just fantasizing about not being lonely all the time. It's like that movie 23. I was the kind of kid who was lonely even when I had friends all around me. That's the way this film makes me feel. I've been thinking on it all day. I've been thinking since I watched it. I watched it at 4. I just got out of the movie at 6 o'clock. It's now 7:30. And I've been ruminating on it. I even went to go get some Chinese food. It was good. Chow mein. And that's what I was ruminating on this whole time. This madness that so many people have. Hell, on my bike ride from the movie theater to my house, I met 2 individuals like that. One screaming about being shot in the head in 1992 and having messed up problems and yelling at somebody else. Another guy talking to somebody who was not there, obviously, and making motorcycle noises for some reason. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's like I said, there's ridiculousness, and I don't know. I just felt like this was what a movie about mental health should be about. To tell people really what it is about, but not by telling them, by showing them the path that someone could take into that madness. Yeah, I'm sorry to go back to this thing, but it keeps going back to it because that's what at the core of this movie, and it's unbelievably awesome. And I'm not going to ruin the storyline for anybody. I'm not going to say a damn spoiler, not one spoiler, because it's just that great. You just need to go see it yourself. But like I said, warning, if you have problems with this kind of movie subject matter may trigger you. But it's what like DC said in the press release for this movie, I think. They said they don't want to care about expanded universes or comic books or keeping everything fucking, it's got to go with the story. A Superman's got to be a certain way, Batman's got to be a certain way. This movie is just like, this is our interpretation. This is art. This is beautiful. Take it or leave it. And I like that. I really do like that. It's an amazing movie, and you will be doing yourself a big disservice if you do not go and watch this movie. It's fucking amazing. I love it. And I don't want to keep saying the same thing over again, so I'm gonna end this in this little short movie review rant podcast type thing. I don't know what to call these anymore, and I don't know how to end them. The costume design was great in this movie. Fucking the clothes he wore really like showed you the way that someone in this time period wore their clothes, the way that somebody who is depressed, who has mental illnesses, wear their clothes. You know, when they're at the house, they don't wear t-shirts, they wear pajamas. They walk around in their pajamas at the house all day. When they're at work, they wear raggedy clothes that are like not ironed out well, but when they're doing something that they love and want to be professional, they wear suits and everything's perfect. It's just, I love this movie. And I think the art direction for it was amazing. I think the movie that it parallels is amazing, and the things that it takes from that movie and the things that it adds is just beautiful. Anyways, go see the movie. 10 out of 10. Seriously. This has been Ronnie Bolster, and my movie review of The Joker. I hope to see you in the next realm. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.